Good morning, my Real News Media TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a productive day. Please remember to leave a comment, like, and share. And in the news this morning for February 2, 2024, policeman under probe after colleague killed during traffic stop. A member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force is under investigation in connection with the death of one of his colleagues. The police high command ordered a probe of the policeman following the death of Constable Rasheen Lee on Thursday afternoon in hospital. Constable Lee, who was attached to the Highway Safety and Patrol Division of the Ferry Police Station, was admitted to hospital Wednesday night in serious condition after the motor car driven by the policeman ran him over along the Edward Seaga Highway. Superintendent Lanford Salmon, who is in charge of the Highway Safety and Patrol Division, said that sometime after 11 p.m., a police team was conducting a vehicular checkpoint operation when a motor vehicle was observed speeding in the left lane. The driver was signaled to stop, and it initially appeared he was complying.
Talk briefly, the policemen are out there on VTP operation when they signal the motorist to stop. And the motorist in fact slowed down, and then suddenly the vehicle went straight and collided with the policeman. He received some injuries and he was rushed to the Tenantby Hospital.
Constable Lee was later transferred to the Kingston Public Hospital, where he died. The news was informed that the driver, who is attached to the Mounted Troops Division, was taken back into custody Thursday afternoon. 18 alleged Clansman gang members are further remanded. 18 alleged members of the Tesher Miller faction of the Clansman gang were further remanded until March 7 for 9 of the defendants to settle legal representation. Conroy Cardigan, Kemar Francis, Kemar Miller, Charles McCleary, Carlos Williams, Dwayne Frater, Ronaldo Spence, Nashon Guest, and Delamar Rowe joined the cohort who appeared in the Home Circuit Court last week. 9 of the defendants are unrepresented. Another 4 alleged members of the criminal network are to be charged on February 9 and brought before the court. Prior to remanding the men, presiding Judge Justice Vinette Graham Allen noted that she anticipates applications for bail given the fact that attorney Davian Vassell came prepared. Justice Graham Allen said that the antecedent history of the accused must be verified. She said once all accused are represented, a date will be set for the hearing of bail applications. Meanwhile, Deputy Commissioner of Police Fitz Bailey told the news that 4 other alleged members of the Tesher Miller-led faction are to face a series of identification parades. He said a further 9 members of the gang have been sent to other divisions where they are wanted for serious crimes, including murders and shootings. DCP Bailey disclosed that one of the suspects is being investigated for a double murder. The senior commander told the news that the police high command will be using all the resources at its disposal to track down and capture gang members and their leaders. Jamaica has recorded 79 murders since the start of the year. This is 11 fewer than the number recorded for the similar period last year. Custody to be decided for Silvera children. The judiciary is to decide today in whose custody the children of Melissa Silvera and the former legislator Julian Silvera will be placed as the high public interest murder saga involving the Silveras continues. The news has learned that the matter is set for mention in the Kingston and the St. Andrew Family Court this morning. The court is seeking to have the children settled in the best environment soonest. Melissa, 42, was killed a month shy of her 8th wedding anniversary with a 52-year-old Julian, a land developer who is in custody, charged for her murder. He was arrested on January 19, a week after Melissa was laid to rest at the St. Andrew Parish Church. The Silveras had 4 children, all boys, during their union. A tragedy at their home on August 29, 2017 claimed the life of one of the boys. Justin Silvera, who was 2 years old, reportedly drowned in a pool. The court is now to decide who will care and become responsible for their 9-year-old twin boys Adam and Aden and their youngest child, 4-year-old Axel. On November 10, it was widely publicized that Melissa, a University of Virginia graduate, passed away peacefully in her sleep at the Silvera's Diamond Court Stony Hill apartment in St. Andrew. During an autopsy conducted 3 weeks later at a prominent funeral home in Kingston, 3 bullet fragments were discovered in her body, prompting investigators to mount a murder probe. The matter was subsequently removed from the jurisdiction of the local police and handed to the Major Investigation Division. Last week, Silvera received an additional charge under the Gun Court Act for using a firearm to commit an offense. His licensed firearm was seized for testing immediately after the autopsy determined that Melissa possibly had been shot. Julian, who is represented by King's Counsel Peter Champagny and attorney Patrice Riley, made his first appearance on January 25 in the Circuit Court Division of the Supreme Court following a voluntary bill of indictment from the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. Champagny, following the first hearing, begged the public to exercise some level of restraint and said he believed it was important that irrespective of the views, there were young children involved. It is a very, very difficult time for the 3 children, Champagny told the media last week. It is said that the boys are very close to both parents. Silvera, a former one-term People's National Party MP for St. Mary Western, was further remanded until February 8 as certain documents were outstanding. In the meantime, detectives assigned to the Major Investigations Division are seeking the public's assistance in locating a person of interest who they believe can assist with the investigation into the murder. She is Sashana Miller of a corporate era address. Miller has been asked to turn herself into the MID's office at 230 Spanish Town Road, Kingston 11, or the Criminal Investigation Branch Head Office at the NCB South Tower, located on Oxford Road in St. Andrew. In a statement, the Corporate Communications Unit of the Jamaica Constabulary Force asked anyone knowing Miller's whereabouts to contact MID at 876-758-5048, CIB at 876-922-2380, Crime Stop at 311, the 119 police emergency number, or the nearest police station. Contractor killer breaks down with a mention of his missing son. The contractor killer in the murder of Portland businesswoman Tonya MacDonald on Thursday broke down in tears and refused to answer questions about his son's whereabouts. Denver Lynn Minot, the prosecution's key witness, who claimed he was hired by Everton Beach Stout to kill his wife for $3 million, had reported his son missing in 2020. That son was never found. Yesterday, when attorney-at-law Vincent Wellesley was questioning him about another son, Fitzroy, who he had mentioned repeatedly in the secretly recorded conversation reportedly between him and MacDonald, and who was also detained when the police arrested Minot, the witness became very emotional and agitated. When asked if he had heard his voice mentioning his son in the recordings, he agreed. In one of the conversations, Minot, who is serving 19 years in prison for his role in the July 2020 murder of Tonya, was heard telling the man, said to be MacDonald, that he, his son, and the taxi operator went to Tonya's home in a failed attempt to have her killed. However, when the lawyer asked him where his son was now, he paused and glowered at the lawyer while saying amid the tears, "Him don't want me go back with my son and the taxi man there. No ask me about them. No ask me no question about them." Minot then retreated from the dock as if he wanted to walk out of the courtroom, but the lawyer told him to return to the dock. Justice Chester Stamp, noting that Minot looked stressed, said he would allow him a moment to compose himself and permitted him to step outside. Minutes after leaving the courtroom, Minot was observed crying while saying, "I him kill me son." Before his emotional breakdown, there were testy exchanges between the witness and the lawyer, who had accused him of being dishonest about his client Oscar Barnes' involvement in the murder. According to Minot, he could not go through with Tonya's killing and had subcontracted Barnes to carry out the killing. When the matter resumed, Minot acknowledged that the police had arrested Fitzroy and that he was making reference to that son in the recordings. The son in question, the trial heard, had given the police a statement in which he said his father was an area don. Pressed further as to why he had said repeatedly in the recording that his son was involved in Tonya's murder, Minot maintained that it was all an act to protect Barnes. He said he did not want MacDonald to know of Barnes' so-called involvement because he had been instructed to carry out the murder by himself. but Wellesley suggested to him that his client was never involved in the killing and that it was his son who was involved, but Minot disagreed. Minot also denied lying to the court when he said that Barnes went with him to Tonia's house in an attempt to kill her. The chief investigator was also recalled to the stand on Thursday. Under cross-examination, he insisted that there was no evidence to charge Minot's son. He told the court that he had asked Minot about the references made to his son during the recordings, and he had given him an explanation. "You believe this man who is a murderer and a liar?" Wellesley asked before the judge intervened and told him that was not a question for the witness. Wellesley then asked the investigator whether he accepted the words of a liar and a murderer, but the police witness said he did not know Minot to be a liar. Earlier, one of McDonald's attorneys, Christopher Townsend, before completing his cross-examination, suggested that it was not his client's voice that was heard in the recordings and that he was not involved in a conspiracy to murder his wife, but Minot disagreed. Minot also denied the suggestions that he did not have a conversation with McDonald about killing his wife and that the businessman did not tell him that he was going to give his wife money to purchase guns. The witness also rejected the suggestion that he was not the one who made the recordings. In the meantime, the prosecution yesterday closed its case, and the matter was adjourned until Monday, when the defense will make legal arguments.